That wasn't that long ago. People say my hair looks different. Compounds, great. They figured out what that meant, and they proved what the possibilities were, but those were all too toxic. So Bill's over here, and this is the big Megatron screen. And John started sending these little vials over with these symbiotic formulations to Bill's lab in Reno. So John's in Phoenix, and Bill's in Reno. So he's sending them over. Bill's getting them from John and testing them how? What's he putting them into? With what's in the petri dish?
Skin cells?
Skin cells. Normal human skin cells. He's putting John's formulations into them. It's very it sounds like, oh yeah, they just put them in and then they watch. You guys, it's total. I've listened to Bill explain it. I don't understand a word he's saying. So, very complicated process. And Bill said, what I'm about to show you, you don't understand what happened. The astronomical percentages that John overcame to do what I'm about to show you puts him in the category of genius as far as I'm concerned. This is Bill saying that. John sent over 65 little vials in a period of so many months, and they found 7 hits out of the all-natural compounds. So this registering of how long these red lines are, you can see the similarities there. Those were the first 3, and Bill was like, he left a voicemail so excited. And they played that voicemail over the speakers, and then he said, get back to us, we're still processing more data. You got a lot of excited scientists over here. And then he didn't answer him back, and so Bill calls again when they found those. And you can imagine, he's like, I wish you'd answer your phone. Are you trying to play some kind of trick on us? I'm going to call your wife Cher, so she'll call you to tell you to call us. I mean, he was really, the whole audience was laughing because here's this really serious scientist that usually speaks monotone, and he's acting like a little kid. And you can imagine why. You know how long he's been looking for something? And John, in about a year's time, comes up with 7. He said it was the most exciting time of his life. And he was so pleased that it could go right to market. Because there's no chemicals in here. It comes from ingredients from plants that have been used for centuries. If you look up the medicinal clinicals on these things, these are amazing. There was a nutritionist last night who said, wow, I can't believe what's in here. I said, I know. Bill said, if you were to go to the vitamin store and get every one of these and take them every day, it would never produce that. In fact, Bill said, we tried almost all of these over here and we never got a hit. We wanted John to make it public so that other scientists could validate it, because that's what scientists do in that environment. What did John say? Yeah, right. This is going to be exclusive. There's over 90 copyrights and patents on this, even on the way he processes it. So they ended up finding 12 hits. You're looking at 7 right here. And then it was released in August of 2011. And it was a big deal, very big deal, when they did it at the convention. And John and Bill were signing the bottles in the store where they were selling them. John, in 30 years, has never signed a product. So it had been out for about a year, and I had Bill on a phone call and was interviewing him in a big conference call. And he believes that him and John will get the Nobel Prize for this. There's in-human studies going on, clinicals, through Maria Blasco. They've been going on for over 2 years now. So when all that gets out, and guys, this is a big deal. We're pioneering history with this. So when they released it, it had 12 hits. 6 months later, they found 2 more, went right into the product, because they were just getting started. So John's still sending stuff over, even still today. Well, a year later, they found some pretty big hits. John asked Bill, what if we could pass those up, like really get up there, what would that mean? And Bill in the press release said, impossible. The controls are so strong, we're never going to see a hit like that in a natural botanical. So loving the challenge, Anderson sent Dr. Andrews 80 to 160 vials every week for screening. Anderson's hard work finally paid off with an exciting phone call from Dr. Andrews in early March. That would be 2012. You've exceeded our controls. I can't believe it. What are you doing over there? And they released 3rd generation product B with those 2 hits. John has since found hits similar or bigger than those. Do you think John knows what he's looking for inside the compounds? Oh yeah, to get those kinds of hits and then repeat it. The new ones aren't out yet, but I got an email from John saying it should be released this year. And John knows what he's looking for. He says, I'm looking through bark, leaves, branches, trees, roots, bushes, anything I can get my hands on. And he found a phytochemical in China last January that nobody knew about. Didn't even know about it. So it's so cool to be right at the nucleus of where all this is happening and to know these gentlemen. So we know that to support your telomeres is to support life. And I think I just represented a pretty good way in which you can do that. And the reason that I've done over 800 presentations now in the last 2.5 years is because it's elicited them.
Because what?
It's elicited that many meetings. What do I mean by that? Who's got a result and then shared that result with somebody and they lived in a different area? Who had people in Portland where I went last night? Right? This whole group came from John and Kathy Rhodes, who live in North Fork, California, which is a small town that don't even have cell phone service where they live. So you see what one person can do? Because I said yes to the company 8.5 years ago, there's 107,700 people in my organization. That's a small city. 107,000? Not very small city, that's actually a pretty good sized city. So here's what I now know looking at this, because I get to do this full time, you guys. I get to study, I get to ponder, I get to meditate whenever I want. I'll spend 3-4 hours. I could do that morning after morning and meditate and ponder and get in touch with what's happening and talk to my God. And we're in a new paradigm, you guys. This is a whole new era. That's what we're in. And it's a new generation of hope in all areas of our lives. And for people who watch the news all the time, they might think the world's going to hell in a handbasket, right? What does CNN stand for? Constantly negative news. So I just choose not to watch that. Why would I want to incorporate negative news in my life when there's so much more positive stuff that's happening? I mean, I'm sure all of you guys right here are doing more positive things, but they make it look like because one person did something bad in some town of 2 million people, that everybody thinks the world's going to hell in a handbasket. It's not. God's in control, and He's taking us right where He wants us to go, and this is part of that. I absolutely believe this is part of that. I had a great conversation with 4 women last night in Portland who see nothing but light coming out of this. Wow. And what it's doing for people. So I get to be on my soapbox about that. I just want you to understand that there's so much that's happening, and it's a beautiful thing. This is Channel 6 Orlando News. They interviewed Dr. Robert Watine, who's a board-certified internal medicine doctor in Orlando. And he's put over 400 of his patients on it. So based on what I just showed you, you could imagine what's happening. Well, they caught wind of it, and they go into his office and ask him what the heck's going on. They started out with, first of all, it's not a prescription drug, it's a supplement. But the medical community is starting to take notice. I've got easily, I would say, I've been saying over 200 healthcare professionals in my organization for the last year. There's probably over 400 now. In my pharmacists, dentists, MDs, surgeons.
Aren't they going to be threatened?
No. God's in control. So he says it's very easy to see somebody if they're improving or if they're getting worse because of technology. And he says, we're turning around people's health, and I've only changed one variable. He says it a little more aggressively, but I can't do that here because he says some things that shouldn't have been said. If you want to see that on YouTube, you can watch that. Where's that be? Yeah. And he can do whatever he puts his mind to. He brought science and wellness together. I just, I'm not naive to that, but I just choose not to think about that because where my energy goes, that thing grows. Anybody ever watched the movie The Secret?
Mm-hmm.
They say the worst thing you can do about drugs is declare a war on them. What if everybody just ignored them? You would see that whole thing that they talk about in the law of attraction, and you would see it disappear. I know that when I go out on the road and I choose not to have road rage, I don't see it. When I choose to be nice, I see more of that. So I hear what you say. Trust me, I hear what you say, but I'm not concerned about that. And if it happens, I'll deal with it when it comes. There's no sense in worrying about it. So in the meantime, let's change the world, you guys. I mean.